Okay, little background story of who I am. Let me introduce myself. My name is Peter Chow, as you know. I'm a digital entrepreneur, internet marketer, speaker, trainer, coach, course creator, funnel hacker, designer, and that's what I'm doing today. That's what I'm known for. Previously, my previous job was SVP in the user experience, leading a creative team in a fintech company. Okay, so I'm going to tell you more about that story a little bit later on when we reach the right point. Before that, I was a award-winning creative art director. I also have done so many things before. I'm in sales, I was in flights service, founded an NGO and things like that, several startups, and a lot of them failed, by the way. And basically, it shows you one thing: I'm very flexible. I can move from being an entrepreneur and being an employee. I have no problem with that, and I don't hate my boss. And I don't hate my job. I basically like my job because I'm very good at what I do. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one now. This picture shows where I grew up in. It is a very poor neighborhood. All right, this is one of the blocks in the clusters of government flats. It's 5-story walk-up apartment. There's an interesting story behind this, because this area, the whole area here, are known to be that has many drug addicts. At night, in the evening, late in the evening, they will all show up at the stairwell and they will have their fakes, and then they will sleep it off at night. Okay, that's what they do. Sometimes they climb up on the roof. There's a gap, as you can see on the picture. There's a gap there. They will just find their way to climb up there so that they have their own little private space and can do the fix, right? And the interesting thing is that none of the residents are ever being bothered by the drug addicts. They were just there at night to do whatever they do, and then they would disappear by the morning. And me and my brothers, we prepared to go to school. We walk down the stairs early in the morning, and we will always see them. Okay, so it's interesting. So basically, I come from a very poor family. I have nothing much. We just make do with whatever we have. Okay. So I do remember when I was in school, in primary school, and one of the interesting things is that, the assignment is what do you want to be when you grow up? So I always remember I wanted to be a scientist because I love comic books, I love superheroes and things like that. And scientists are the job where there is always an accident happening. And when an big accident happens, the scientists always turn into a superhero. That's why I wanted to be a scientist. But as I grow up, of course, that's, little boy stuff. When I grew up, I wanted to be an architect. But as I mentioned before, I don't come from a very well-to-do family. We don't have enough. So my parents are not able to afford to send me to college. So I have to give that up. And I went into private short courses. So I took up business management and a professional professional diploma in marketing. So I have a qualification in marketing. I took that because I wanted that as a backup. Knowing that I may go into something different, because at that time I don't know what I want to do yet, but I needed backup. So if everything fails, I can always come back to sales and marketing, because sales and marketing, even at that point, I know that most businesses will always need a sales and marketing team, right? So after that point, I've done a lot of things. I went into like you've seen before. I went into in-flight sales as a cabin crew. I've gone into other form of sales, and in the end, I pretty much settled myself. I found my calling and settled myself to become a creative. I started my own interactive agency. I took it from a freelance operation, a one-person freelance operation, into a multi-award-winning design boutique. Okay, so that's where I have been for 10 over years. And after that, where everything I've gone through, I was headhunted to go into a fintech company, and then I lead a creative team there. So I was still a creative. And then when that company imploded because of a failed IPO, and they banked everything on the IPO. When the IPO failed, the whole company collapsed, and everybody has to be let go. Okay, including me, and that puts me in a position where it was the darkest point, one of the darkest points in my life, and I have to find something else to do, because otherwise I can't feed my family, right? So I became an entrepreneur again, and I have chosen at that time to go into internet marketing. Okay, and the interesting thing is this: I had a qualification in marketing, which is a graduate diploma in marketing by a very prestigious organization in the UK. But everything that I know theoretically about marketing are useless to me, including a lot of the stuff that I've learned running my agency in a creative environment, serving MNCs in the Asia Pacific region, delivering websites and campaigns and stuff like that. But that really didn't equip me to take on whatever is in front of me in 2016. Everything changes so drastically that I have to unlearn what I knew and relearn all over again. Okay, that's basically the situation with me back then. So I went on to do a lot of trainings because one of the things that I knew that I must do is to give back. Not only give back, because I knew for a fact that if I teach what I know, I get better at what I do. Okay, so I started working with my partner company, and I started providing webinar trainings for the company and the consultants in the company, right? So moving forward, I have created many programs and many training materials, but I haven't released everything yet. These are two of the items that I've released, so that I have training courses under my name now. I'm a speaker and a trainer. I have done so on stages in Sydney, Singapore, Hong Kong, Melbourne. Okay, and I begin to be known as the cutting edge bot guy, because basically what I teach, the main thing that I've chosen to differentiate myself from everyone else was chatbot automation. And most of the people who are doing teaching, they are all teaching Facebook stuff. Although I'm good at Facebook ads, there's no way that I can be able to position myself powerfully if I were to teach the same thing. So I need to find something completely different, and I managed to figure out that I am good at chatbot automation. So that's where I was. After doing this for over 2 years, right, there are several things that I managed to figure out that are very important as an entrepreneur. Mindset, leverage, mentorship, story, sales funnels, do what works, irresistible offer, proven frameworks. All these are very important in building a business, right? Especially an online business. But today, we are only going into the topic of leverage, and we are leveraging on chatbot automation. That's the time we have. Now, I learned through the hard way. I've spent over 100K in Facebook ads. Now, that's not a lot comparing to a lot of other people who are really big in Facebook ads, but also comparing to a lot of other people who just started, that's a huge amount of money in US dollars, right? So I learned traffic, I learned conversion, I learned lead generation, I learned about Messenger as a platform, and then I learned about integrations that need to integrate different platforms so that they talk to each other, and I can churn out an asset that I can follow up on. That's very important. Integration is a form of leverage, it's a form of automation as well. Then I basically discovered that I really, really hated stalking people, cold calling, some of the things that we learned to do, and running standard boring campaigns. And it's interesting that when I run my campaigns on Facebook ads, sometimes I get comments from people that says that you are a scam, because I can see the same campaign being run by so many different people. There's no way that this can be legitimate when everybody is doing the same thing, right? So although it is a misconception, they just don't know how the internet marketing world works. But then it gives me, it opens up my eyes that I have to differentiate myself. So that's the reason why I'm on this journey. And I've lost leads and lost commissions along the way as well. So like I mentioned before, I've done a lot of things right, I've done a lot of things wrong, and I managed to figure some things out, right? So who wants the easy way? Okay? Who wants the easy way to cut your work by half? Right? Cuts your work by half with a more efficient, effective automation system. Everybody wants that, isn't it? Okay, so can you imagine what it will be like when you can automate your own marketing system and at the same time build a relationship with your audience? Because we all know that we need to achieve the know, like, and trust with our audience. Because otherwise, if they don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you, they're not going to buy whatever you are trying to sell. It's as simple as that. It's not about building a relationship. Now, one of the research that I've done during my speaking days was based on the questions that people ask me. How long does it take for me to find results, to get results, if I'm in this business, which is internet marketing? And I started looking at the results and the time frame that people are in, the track records that people have shared, and I begin to see a pattern, all right? So it doesn't matter whether they are good in Facebook ads, they're on YouTube, the main thing is CPA, or blogging or follow-up or warm market or even solo ads. It doesn't matter because everyone has their own speciality. But the interesting thing is this. If you can tell me, take a guess, what is the average time to the first 100,000 milestone? This is very interesting because it gives you an idea that leads to the next learning content. 6 months? 2 months? Cannot be 2 months, right? You guys have been in the business for a certain number of months or years already, and well, it's not going to be that short. So let me give you the answer. The average time is 2 years. Okay, some of them did it less than 2 years. Some of them takes a little bit longer, which is something like 3 years. But on average, the magic number is 2 years. So imagine this: if you don't have your results right now, okay, just hang in there. Don't give up, and you will find your results. Okay, I've achieved my 6-figure as an internet marketer in less than 1.5 years. There are several reasons why it is like so. I'm going to share with you why. One of the important point is that I found myself a mentor, and basically when I'm showing you this, I'm not bragging. I'm just trying to tell you what I have is that I have arrows on my back. I have dirt on my face. I've done whatever it takes to reach that point. Okay, so I hustle harder. I work a lot harder than most people. That's why I have results different from most people. Okay, and that's how I built my 6-figure affiliate marketing business in 2016, 2017, and 2018. Okay, I started becoming an expert in messenger bot marketing along the way. Now, let me do a quick disclaimer now. My results are not typical, meaning there are so many different variables at play. This is not a get-rich-quick program, and I'm not trying to tell you that you will achieve the same results. I'm just showing you what works for me, and it is very doable. All right.